Right, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I built the steps for my retaining sleeper wall. If you're interested to see how I built my retaining sleeper wall, there will be a link to the video in the description below. Right, so we've had a bit of a change of plan to how we're going to do the steps. So initially what we were going to do is we were going to buy some more sleepers, so I think we needed about 2 more sleepers to actually finish off what we wanted to do. But instead we've actually got these, which were intended to be support posts behind the sleepers originally. This was before we decided to put the sleepers in front of the wall itself. So what we're going to do, instead of buying some more sleepers, we're going to try and use some of these posts, cut them to size, and see if we can actually make the steps using those and the remaining bit of sleeper that we've got too. So I'm using the McAllister circular saw again, just like I did the other day, to cut these different posts to size. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting these, cutting this in half. So I'll have 2 lengths of 800mm, and I'm going to see if they fit in the space where the steps need to go. Probably about 1 mil out, not perfect, but it'll do the job for what we're after. So these bits will be behind the steps anyway, so it won't be actually seeing this rough edge. Right, so that's all the cuts done then now. So what I've done is I've got 4 lots of 300, I've got 4 lots of 600, I've got 4 lots of 800, and I've got the 2 sleepers which are both 800 too. And I'll show up on screen somewhere now the plan of what the steps are going to be. So in the end, each step should look a little bit like this. So this, just imagine this is the bottom sleeper now of that bottom row coming up, and then you've got 2 pieces here which make it 300 deep. And 200 up and 200 up at the sides as well. And then this will be the start of the next step, which will also go 300 back, 200 up, and then straight onto the grass. So I'm quite pleased so far with how those have turned out. So it's looking like only up to about here that I'm gonna have to remove, but I will remove, you know, a few more, about maybe half a foot to a foot either side, just so I can get round and get all screws in and things. So yeah, not too bad. So before I put any of this together, I bought this wood treatment from Screwfix, and the reason I went for this one in particular is because it was clear and I didn't really want to leave much of a mark on the wood. But also as well is because even though the wood's treated, all those cut ends that I cut using the circular saw would be that exposed wood. So what I did was I put 2 coats on each end, about 2 hours apart for each. So it took, you know, half a day to really do it properly. And hopefully by doing this, they'll resist rotting for longer. Right, so we've got the first part of the first step in. So if you have a look here, what I've used is the same tin block screws that I used last time. to secure these two pieces into place. So I've put a set of screws into this sleeper and then a set of screws here into this piece of wood in the centre. Now the next bit I'm looking at is what I'm going to do about these, because on this side you can see it's going to fit flush with the front of the actual sleepers itself, but on this side, to push it flush, we've got about a 2mm gap there, 2-3mm to that side. So what I'm thinking of doing is just possibly bringing this forward slightly, just so everything fits nicely. The only issue is we are probably going to end up with a gap at the top, but it's not massive, so I think we'll be able to get away with it, to be honest. Now it's just to decide how we're going to fix these down onto this to make sure everything is really, really secure. So to secure all of these side posts in place, what I did was I used the timber lock screws, the same ones that I used to screw the sleepers to the main support posts, just to keep them solid then. So I put one in each, and then when it came to the long ones later on, I used two. And you can see before as well, I was just using small angle brackets just to keep everything square and hold everything secure in place. So I know these angle brackets only have small screws in them, but it's only really to keep everything in the right sort of position where it needs to be. And then like you see now, I'm using 4 timber lock screws just to screw the sleeper into place before then moving on to the rest. And some of the rocks that I dug out previously came in really handy, so we wedged some stuff under, crammed as much hardcore as we could underneath, just to give it a little bit more support. There we are, we're finished. So you can see that each of the steps 300mm deep, 200 up, same for that one, and then hopefully once we level off the ground to this level here now, it's going to be level with the back sleeper at the part of that step. So I've got to say, really pleased with the outcome so far. I imagine our grass is probably going to come halfway up the sleeper, so this step's going to be quite a shallow step anyway. We'll have some sort of stone in front of this just to help with drainage and a bit of a border before we do have the turf. But yeah, steps are almost, and I say almost complete, because these top bits here, you can see there's a bit of a gap there, but we're going to learn to live with that because we got this one tight. But because we've got this dip from the actual retaining wall itself down onto the steps, what we are going to do is we're going to cut a piece of this post down to size to fit there, and we'll just glue it on with some wood glue, because then it's going to have the same sort of effect as this at the top of this piece of wood here. And at least then it'll be nice and tidy, and then it'll drop off down to this part here then, so it'll be all flush and square here, and then hopefully go down maybe, what is it, maybe 4 or 5mm, 6mm possibly, down into the rest of it. So not too bad. I mean, you have a bit of a gap there as well, but like I said, we've done it ourselves, we're just going to have to learn to live with it. You can see we've got a little bit on each end as well, so we thought just split the difference. We can handle that. For now, I think it looks really good. What we have done as well is we've packed in loads of hardcore, loads of big rocks and bricks that we found, and we've packed that all underneath, so hopefully once we step onto these, it's not just being held on by the support posts, but it's being supported by the hardcore that's underneath also. And then we come around to this monstrosity here, where we do have all of the different angle brackets sort of screwed together. So we screwed them all into this wall because it's supported by the post at the front. And then these ones as well, because we've used the timber lock screws to attach everything, we didn't want timber lock screws going through the top, so we've decided just to go with these flat panels just to secure it in place. So we've gone mad with the screws, but is what it is. And then we've got one here as well, because this was slightly lower than it needed to be, so we've raised it up, screwed it into place, and we've done the exact same thing on the other side as well. So next job now after today is to continue this membrane around the outside all the way, fill in a layer of hardcore, just like we've done over here, and then we're just going to backfill the rest up to this height with all of the remaining earth. So if you have been watching along with this garden renovation, thanks for watching. Like I said, the next step now is to take a little bit off the front grass. So we're taking it down almost a foot in the thickest area, and then maybe a quarter of a foot at the front of the garden itself. And we're taking all that soil and we're dumping it all at the back, like we've got there and there, and hopefully we'll bring it up to the level that we want it to be. Now this bit here is going to be the patio eventually, so we've looked at what we're going to get for the patio. It is quite expensive for all the clobber, so we're going to see if we can still do it on a budget, but we're just going to look around and see what sort of flags we can get and for what price, and hopefully try and get the best price for them then. Because the whole idea of this is to do it all as best we can, but do it all as cheaply as possible, because we don't want to be spending thousands upon thousands of pounds getting someone in to do it, do the garden for us, when we knew we could just do it ourselves if we give it a good crack. So if you've enjoyed watching, please give it a like, subscribe if you want to see the rest of the renovation, and finally, thanks for watching.
I love it.
That should be the thumbnail.